right, in this video, we are going to talk about our experience flying to Spain with a dog in our cabin.
Yeah. So this was actually more of like what Paul knows this a lot more because we split up the duties. I did all of the paperwork for the non-lucrative visa, which is the visa that we applied for. And I told him like, okay, you do the paperwork for the dog.
Yeah, since I love the dog more than she does, I'll take care of it. But we're going to talk about the three things. We're going to talk about the documents that we needed to take care of. We're going to talk about the actual training of the dog, and we're going to talk about flight day.
So first,
with the documents, it's really important, and all of this is going to be in the APHIS website. It's APHIS, APHIS dot USDA.gov, and it's going to be a link in the description below. All you have to do is put in the country that you're flying to from the US to anywhere in the world, and it's going to show you the requirements. But for US to Spain, these are the requirements that we've discovered.
Right.
The first thing is you need to have microchips. So the dog has to be microchipped, I think 21 days before the flight, and it has to be microchipped before the day of the vaccination. So you have to make sure that. So for Fifi, since she's a rescue, the microchip existed in her, but it didn't have any files, and
from the previous owner, I think.
From the previous owner. So I discovered this after she got her vaccination, which kind of like freaked me out. But then it turns out that she just needed to be microchipped before the vaccination, not like the registering. So I had to like go to the Home Again website, which is going to be in a link in the description below, and I had to register her to me. And after that, I took care of her vaccination records because coincidentally it expired 2021, which is the year that we are flying out of, and so I had to like update her vaccination. Everything was really easy. We just went to the doctor. They
gave her
shots for like 25 minutes or something, and then she came out and she was great. So after the vaccination records, the other important thing are the health records, the health certificate from a USDA accredited vet. And fortunately for us, our landlady's husband is a USDA accredited vet.
For all animals.
She's a Category 2 vet.
Category 2. So
I'm so proud of you, Mike.
So that's why we couldn't find him when we first looked at the list, because we were looking at Category 1, which was dogs and cats. But he has a better certification. So yeah, level up. So yeah, that then we brought Fifi over to Dr. Mike.
And yeah, he examined her and he said her heart's great, her belly's great. And then from there, he did the accreditation for the European certificate. So all he had to do was like file it digitally online. And then after a few days, I received the mail with a stamp from the USDA. And that's what we brought to us to Spain
to present to the customs officer. So just make sure that when your vet does it, check that the microchip matches the real name of your dog, because we call her Fifi, but she's actually Miss Fifi
in the adoption
papers. So that, plus making sure that the numbers are correct and like the birth date is correct if you're able to find all of that. So just make sure everything is matching. And what else?
So speaking of adoption, we fostered Miss Fifi a year before we left for Spain.
From SoCal Bulldog Rescue.
They're such a great rescue.
We love them.
I'm going to put the link in the description below if you want to donate. But we fostered her knowing that we were leaving. And we're like, old dogs, they usually need a warm bed during the holidays. So we're just going to take her in.
Yeah, Gail talked us into it to say like, yeah, maybe it's just like a small vacation for her, like just give her something for the holidays
And
before
at
she gets
first,
adopted out. And
yeah,
we're
at
like,
first
yeah,
I was
sure.
fine. Yeah, I was fine. I'm like, oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we'll give
And
her a
then
home.
after a few months, we just fell in love with her, and now I just said no one else is gonna love her but me, and all those things. And now, like 2 months before we left for Spain, we just legally adopted her, and we had to take care of two things. We had to take care of her adoption form, and we had to take care of. I had to secure a letter from my psychiatrist to say that I needed a service animal with me during the flight, which he really told me.
Yeah, you need a dog.
Yeah. He said you need a dog.
Yeah.
So, fortunately, he was able to make a letter, create a letter authorizing the dog to me
Yeah.
with a stamp, and we got the adoption papers fixed.
Yeah. So she's not an emotional support animal. She's actually a psychiatric service animal. So she is really a service dog. Part of the things that makes her a service dog is grounding. So she's always with us. Like especially when I think when we're anxious, she'll sit right there. Like she's
Yeah.
always right there.
Which leads me to the last part of the documents, because the airlines, they require different things, but they're going to require two forms from you. They're going to require a DOT form for air transportation and attestation form. So the air transportation means that she's authorized to fly, and you're going to need to indicate the name of the vet and the name of the dog trainer, if there is a dog trainer, in one form. And then the attestation form just means that you're telling them that she's trained not to go to the toilet inside the plane. Just so that's all they need. But the United Airlines, the airplane that we used, I talked to them over the phone, and I called them and said that I'm bringing a service animal with me, and they had a bunch of questions, and they were saying like, what is she trained to do, and blah blah blah. So you have to be ready for those things, because they will look
of
for
course,
it.
ask
Yeah.
for it.
They
Yeah.
were asked for it,
You know.
and we talked to some of our flight attendant friends, and they were saying that the reason why the ESA animals are not allowed anymore is because there are a lot of ESA animals that aren't trained to be in the flight. Like our flight attendant friend, she was saying that once a dog barks at someone or attacks another dog, then that's
jumps.
automatically gonna go. It's either they're not gonna be admitted, or they're gonna go under
Cargo.
In cargo, yeah.
Yeah. So, and it was important for us to have Fifi with us because she's older. And also, we did have her trained as well. So that was important to us. Like, we wanted to make sure that she understood commands. I mean, she's potty trained, so we didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I think that during the time that we were fostering her, she kind of like trained us to train her for grounding. Like, she really like looks for us, and she sits on our feet, like
On her
literally
feet, like
on
her
our feet.
butt right there.
Yeah. So we know she's trained, but like airport trained, we kind of like wanted to make sure that we take that extra step and make sure that she's okay. So we had to take her to PetSmart with dog trainer Bree, and we had like a few sessions with her, and she was examining the dog and seeing how she is with other dogs and how she is with commands. And I was floored. I was really, really happy about what happened.
What she can do, yeah, at her age. So, yeah.
Yeah, she sees other dogs and she just looks and she doesn't bark. And so
Yeah.
that was our fear, was if she was aggressive towards other dogs, because we've proven she was great with kids and adults, but not with other dogs. So we were happy. That was great. So now
Flight day.
the third part is flight day. So what we did was, I found out that I think you're not supposed to feed the dog 4 to 6 hours before the flight. So which kind of like broke my heart because she always loves
She's
to
so
eat.
hungry
Yeah. So
all the time.
we put her in a diet, and I said, "Oh, it's only gonna take 12 hours for you not to eat."
Right.
It's turned out to be a lot
What, 24
longer.
hours?
Yeah.
So we didn't feed her dinner because we were flying. Well, we were leaving the house early. We left the house around 5:30 in the morning. Because our flight was at 10. We wanted to make sure that we had everything ready and we were squared away.
And of course, it was raining.
And it was raining the last 2 days of us moving. It
So
was
I had to,
raining.
like, at 4:30 in the morning, I had to bring her out so that she pees on the lawn, and I was holding like an umbrella.
For
Yeah.
her. So yeah, we didn't feed her, and then once we got to the airport and we were checked in, first thing Paul did was take her to the pet relief station, which was right next to the United Lounge. So that was nice. So he brought her there, and she went number 2 twice. So I think she kind of knew.
I almost cried in the bathroom. I was so proud.
Yeah, so and then when we were waiting for our flight, we just were chilling with her, and then before we got to the gate, they went again, and she peed again, and then actually when we got to our cabin, when we got on the plane, she knew what to do. I think the owners maybe brought her on a plane before because she knew she was waiting for me to lay down her dog mattress and her blanket, and she was fine. And
Yeah,
she was like that the entire time.
She slept like a baby.
Yeah,
And she only woke up during the times when they served food.
because she could smell them.
Yeah, but then she gave up really
Yeah.
easily,
Right.
and then she just went back to sleep. And
Right.
this was the flight was from LAX to Newark, which is 5.5 hours.
But
and then
we flew for just 4, like
We
I think
flew for
4
just
or
4.
4.5.
yeah, and then from Newark to Madrid, it took us what
7 hours.
7
Yeah,
hours.
6
Yeah.
hours something. Yeah, but there was a delay. We couldn't get to our gate when we landed in Newark. We couldn't get to our gate, so we couldn't get off the plane. The plane couldn't get to the gate. So for another hour or something. So when we finally got out of the plane, we had to run to, it was about it said it's a 14-minute walk to our connecting flight. And we had carry-ons. And thank goodness we have a stroller for Fifi. So we were running through the airport, and then one of our carry-on, the wheels got busted. So that was fun.
That trek from one gate to another was 16 minutes.
Yeah.
And our flight was boarding in 25 minutes. So
Right.
we had barely enough time to go to the lounge, which
She
was our
had to
first
pee.
time. We had barely enough time to go to the bathroom.
We didn't go to the lounge. We
Yeah,
just
we
went to
could-
the
we couldn't,
bathroom.
yeah.
I just went to pee. She had to go pee.
Thankfully, she did such a great job
Mm.
because like the dogs before her didn't really go. So
Yeah, but she
it
was just
like,
ready.
we were-
Yeah. So I think she did very well on the flight. I actually felt like I was the one that was more anxious because I kept checking on her, make sure I wasn't like kicking her or hurting her. She was there by our feet. But yeah, all she did was sleep. She was just
Yeah.
so. Even the flight attendant said, I completely forgot that she was there. Like I totally forgot that she was there. She never barked. She went through TSA by herself.
Yeah, that was. I wish I
So-
filmed that because
we couldn't film it because we went through TSA.
But yeah, all of these things, which leads me to our tips. My first tip is make sure you bring a stroller with you.
Or something where you can carry your dog
For
with
the
you or
dog,
your
yeah.
pet with you. So if you need to run to the gate,
Especially
you
if you
can.
have a big dog who doesn't like to walk. She's a little lazy.
And heavy.
Yeah. So having the stroller, thank you, Benny, Uncle Benny, for this stroller because it was magic. And we still use it here in Spain.
Right.
But just the stroller is really important. They don't count that as luggage. So you just bring it to the, what do you call that?
To the plane, to the gate.
To the gate.
Right.
And then you just leave it on the side and then you go inside the cabin.
Right. So they'll just like pack that for you.
Yeah. The second one, our second tip, is make sure before you leave to check where the pet relief stations are in every airport
Right.
because that's really important.
Super important.
We tried to navigate. There was a time where we didn't have cell signal until we landed, so that was a little tricky. But
Wanted to make sure we knew where to go, which was the closest one to our gate.
right,
Yeah.
and usually there's just one, so it's not close to your gate, which is great. The last one, the last most important thing is invest in good luggages, because our luggage, just like what you said earlier, gave out on us. The carry-on luggage gave out. So the carry-on in our flight has no weight limit. Of course, what did we do? We just packed it with everything. It was probably 50 pounds or something.
Nah.
And
But it was just like, it was crappy luggage. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, and we've used it so many times. Like, it had to give out. It had to give out on the most important flight.
so yeah, just make sure you buy really good luggage.
Yeah, it'll last you much longer. But yeah, so flying with your service animal is still allowed in United when we flew in 2021. So you just have to really check. And he made a lot of calls to make sure that we were following everything. And that just made it so much easier when we went through customs. Actually, because Fifi was in a stroller, we could have just breezed through the nothing to declare area because
They think she's a baby.
it looked like she was
She
a
is my
baby.
baby.
So we actually had to ask, like, where do we declare her? And took us to this nice gentleman who checked her and everything, checked all of the paperwork. It was very, very easy. And then we were good to go. So as long as all of your paperwork is in place, it's very easy. Even like checking into United and saying that we have a service animal was easy. Yeah, so it's the paperwork that's a lot of work, but once you get it all, I mean, that it's pretty painless from there.
You just follow all of the requirements
Requirements.
in the USDA website. You'll be fine.
Triple check everything. You'll
And
be good.
be kind.
Oh yeah, and train your dog. I think it'll be helpful. It'll ease your anxiety. And I think it'll be easier for them when they know how to follow some commands. Yeah.
So again, ESA is not allowed. It has to be a psychiatric service animal
Right now, because
Or-
of COVID, I think.
or
I
a
don't know.
trained animal. Your dog has to be trained. You can't bring an untrained dog
Right.
in an airplane. You're just gonna give yourself a headache. So make sure you invest in that time into getting your dog trained, because
and
these
plus,
poor things.
it's invaluable for you guys too, right? Like, because now she focuses more, and we know that she understands us. Like, she's not stupid, or she's not bad with other dogs.
She is stupid. She's not stupid.
Okay. Thank you. That's it.
All right. Hopefully this video gives you a little bit more clarity on how to bring your dog into the plane with you on an international flight. In our case, we went from the US to Spain, and
With an English bulldog.
with an English bulldog who is not supposed to be in the plane. It's one of
What?
the it's one of the banned breeds when you
They don't
take
know
take them to
bulldogs.
cargo, but she's fine in the cabin.
Yeah.
But hopefully it helps you, because we've seen a lot of videos and they've been really helpful, but this one is from our experience. So I really hope it helps. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comment section below, or reach out to us on Instagram or in our email. Hasta luego!
Hello. Hola, ¿qué tal?
Hello. Servicio animal.
Di ba animales de servicio?
Animales de servicios. Adios. Okay, sorry.